Welcome to the tool review channel. Today we're taking a look at the IRWIN VISE-GRIPs 8-inch Linesman Pliers. Now the model number on these are 1968-33-4. Now these are an 8-inch long pair of Linesman Pliers. I do believe IRWIN does make a 9-inch pair of Linesman Pliers, or someone makes it for them and they just rebranded it. But this is IRWIN's themselves manufacturing these pliers. They are made in Taiwan, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And as you can see, they are a relatively nice looking pair of Linesman pliers. They have the IRWIN style handles on there with the blue and yellow, and you got your IRWIN name right there and vice grip down here. And these are, I believe, you can only get these in comfort grip, so you can't get them with a dipped handle. I believe all their tools come only in comfort grip handles, which is like a soft rubbery plastic, which is nice to feel in your hand to reduce hand fatigue. And as you can see on the tool right there, you got the IRWIN name laser etched into the tool, and then you have your model number right there. I believe that 44R might be a manufacturing code. I'm not really sure. And as you can see, this is a high leverage design with that rivet being close to the cutting edge, so you don't have to use as much force when cutting through some wire. And then as you can see on the nose of the plier, you have a decent, or that's a pretty nice cross hatching on the nose of the plier. So if you needed to twist wire, pull some of the wire insulation off after you strip the wire, or whatever you need, maybe you're pulling out a screw or something like that, it's definitely a nice cross-hatch design, so it should be able to grip onto whatever you are trying to grip onto. As you can see, you have a nice cutting edge right there as well. And then coming to the back, you have a nice little square cutout, and you can see the tool is a little bit oily. I did have to oil these up, because when I did pick them up, they were quite stiff. So now we'll get to some of the functionality of the tool. So as you can see, they are a little bit loose, but they still definitely need to be broken in. That's about as far wide as they open, but as you can see, they roll and go to right there by themselves currently. So now we're going to bring in some 14 gauge stranded wire and see how well these can cut through that. So put those in the jaw, and as you can see, it cuts through that no problem, and you can hear a nice snapping action. Now, I know some people don't like that snapping action, because especially when it comes to larger gauge wire, you can definitely feel it down in the hands, but when you're cutting with 14 gauge stranded wire, you can't really feel that. So obviously it cuts through the 14 gauge stranded wire, no problem. Now we'll bring in some 12 gauge stranded wire and see how well they can cut through that. And as you can see, cuts through that no problem. Does it fairly easily, which is nice. So we'll go ahead and get that out of the picture. We'll get those wires out of the picture as well, and we will bring in some 10 gauge stranded wires, see how well these can cut through that. And as you can see, has no problem cutting through the 10 gauge stranded wire. You can definitely start to feel the vibration in the handles when you're cutting through the wire, but it's not terribly bad. So we'll go ahead and put that off to the side, and we'll bring in some 18.5 thermostat wire and see if we can cut through that. And as you can see, you can definitely hear a different change in sound there when you cut through it. It's definitely a nice snapping action, and the wire does eject from the pliers itself. And as you can see, it cuts through that 18.5 solid wire, no problem. So now we're going to bring in some 14.2 with ground Romex and see if these pliers can cut through that. And as you can see, definitely can cut through that, no problem. But you're definitely, like I said, definitely going to feel that snapping action through the handles when you're cutting this size wire, and possibly larger size wire as well. Now we'll bring in some 12 gauge wire, or some 12.2 with ground, and see how well we can cut through that. Now it's going to require a little bit more force than the 14 gauge, or the 14.2. And as you can see, definitely have a different sound in action there. You can definitely feel that vibration just a little bit more in the pliers. But as you can see, has no problem getting through that 14.2 wire whatsoever. So now we're going to bring back in that 10 gauge stranded wire and see how well we can strip this wire. So all you got to do is run that around the knife edges and lift this up. And as you can see, you are able to strip wire with these, no problem. And as you can see, it did hold on to that insulation with that cross hatching up there, which is fairly aggressive, and it does hold on very nicely. So overall, I would say these are a nice pair of pliers IRWIN has to offer. Now, I do believe they have a 9-inch, or maybe it might be a little bit larger pair of Linesman pliers. Now, those I believe are made in Germany. I believe they're an NWS rebrand for IRWIN, if I'm not mistaken. These ones, like I said, I believe they're made in Taiwan. So it's two totally different manufacturers. But it still is a nice quality product. It's definitely a nice pair. I do wish that they would do like a dipped version, a dipped handle version of these pliers, because I have started to learn that if you have a bunch of comfort grip pliers, they are a little bit harder to fit them in your tool bag, versus when you have dipped pliers, you can dip them, you can put them in your tool bag a lot easier and pull them out of your tool bag a lot easier than when you have just comfort grip handled pliers in there. I can't fit as many tools, so that's really about my only complaint with these. But other than that, they're pretty nice. They definitely are going to require some breaking in, or at least my pair required a little bit of breaking in. Obviously, it's not too bad. Just oil it up and then just keep moving it around a bit. And eventually, after you use it quite a few times, it should be fully broken in, and you should be able to pick it up, and the pliers should just swing right open. You should be able to pick these up at your local Lowe's, or if you have a Menards by you, you should be able to pick it up there. They should both be in the tool section. I will leave a link to both Menards and Lowe's in the description if you would like to pick these up and use them as your daily pair of pliers, or if you're looking for a new pair of Linesman pliers and you want to try something different. Those links will be down there in the description for you if you would like to check these out. But that's all I have for this review, so thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel and you'd like to see more videos like this, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. I do try to get a video out every week, so that is something to look forward to. And I do like to change up the reviews a little bit, obviously doing different manufacturers and stuff like that, so that's something to look forward to. And if you did enjoy this review, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. But that's all I have for this video. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video to be uploaded.